at enhancing this little basic game program by adding in a few little tweaks like a score counter. So if my little player hit the triangle, it gets 10 points. If it hits the square, it then restarts the game and I lose all my points. So what we are going to look at doing now is how to actually end the game. Okay, so we know there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 instances of this. So my points, maximum points I can get is 50. Fine. And what we are going to look at doing is we're going to put a little bit of code behind the collect object. So if I click on my collect object and we're going to go to collision, what we almost need to do is a test. So we need to basically get GameMaker to look at the room and say, right, how many of these instances are left? Now we could do it and say, well, is the score equal to 50? But let's say, for example, if we've got another level later on and instead of 5 triangles we've got say 10 on there, then that code is going to need tweaking. So we're going to make a piece of code which is going to look at how many objects are left on our room. So the way we're going to do that is we are going to use this tool here, test instance. So we're going to basically say object is my collection. So how many objects are left? Well, if there's 0 left, then click OK. And what we're going to do is we're going to then start here. So this is like an if statement. So in things like Python, where you have an if statement, it's indented. Think of this as being an indented block. So what's going to happen? Well, essentially what I want to do is I want to show the high score. So if I find my score variable here, and I'm going to show the high score, and I'm going to click OK. And then what I want to do as well is I want to then end the game there. So I'm going to click on this option here, end game, drag that in, and click OK, and then we're going to play that. Now what should happen is if the red little square hits my player, it should restart. If I manage to collect all of the triangles, then hopefully it should show me the high score and we'll be away to go. Let's see. Okay, so let's start with collecting. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely, great. So you can see there now I've tested this once or twice as well. You can see Dave 2, and you can see the high score there. Look, it's set to 50. Which is great. Now what we can do now is we can, if we wanted to, create another level. So if I click my rooms, create room, and you can see now this is but room 1. Now what GameMaker typically does is it looks at whatever room was the lowest number, that will be typically the starting room, right? So if I click on room 1 here and we start to put a few things in. So let's put 1 or 2 collectibles in, and let's change our enemies. We'll make it a bit more difficult. Let's put my object player in. In fact, no, we'll set the object player somewhere else. We'll set it down by there. Okay, so what I need to do now, I need to modify my code a little bit. So what I need to do is I need to go back to my collectibles, and instead of ending the game, we are going to say go on to next level. So if I click on I can't remember the area it is. So let's have a look. Next room. Now you'll notice it says there different room, restart room, previous room. We actually just need to go on this one to a different room, right? So I'm gonna click on OK. So I'm gonna set it to be room 1, transition effect. Doesn't matter what we put here. Click OK. Now I need to get rid of this end game here. And we also need to get rid of this score counter here. Now what I am essentially doing here is I'm going on to the end room, which is fine. Now what we can look at doing then is essentially ending the score in a completely different way. Okay, so let's see if that works for now. Okay, so let's try and grab as many of these as possible to see if it goes on to my next level. Really, I should have changed the background colour. So I'm trying to concentrate as I'm doing this. Okay, one more. Great. And there's the next level. Okay, but what happens now when I end? Let's have a look. God, this is hard. Okay, I missed that one. Right, so obviously now it's come up 80 because I've had the last thing. 3. Press enter and it's now restarted again. Okay, so we've got some form of basic design going on here, which is great. We've got our players obviously we've got our player collecting. We've got an issue where if one of the squares hits, we need now to look at how to end the game. That's the next thing we'll look at in the next video.